Hello everyone, my name is Michał Walczyński and I'm e-commerce and digital manager in Samsung Electronics Poland. And today I would like to focus on building effective cooperation in terms of the marketing and the cooperation between the vendors and the retailers. So today there were lots of talks about the current e-commerce trends. There were talks about the omnichannel, customer experience, some mobile and responsive web design and so on. But I would like to focus in my speech on one remaining thing. Brands are acting like retail players. In PwC, in their Achieving Total Retail report, identified that final customers expect to buy products directly from the brands. And this trend is shaped by two forces. The first of all is the customers' demand to buy directly from the brands and have this direct relationship with the retailers. So at least between 68 and even 90% of customers are visiting brand site during their customer decision journey. 70% of US participants in their American studies convinced that they bought something from retail brand sites directly. And finally, almost half of the B2C American companies already sell something in the online stores via their websites. And on the other hand, we have brands, and they are leveraging this business opportunity. And we have at least 6 brand benefits that they can utilize during going into direct business. So first of all, brands are expecting to have direct relationship with their final customers. It's almost impossible to build effective CRM database without transactional data. Secondly, market is looking for a market reach extension. Finally, we have the scope of the demand generation. So if the brand, even as big as Samsung, is generating demand, they want to have fair shares in the online stores. They also have brand recognition. And in the same time, if you control the whole decision journey, you can better optimize your media spendings digital and also in the offline world. And finally, there are some financial benefits behind. So by doing direct business, they can improve the margins and they can also reduce the costs. And if we come also to the case of Tesla, it's not only about the designing or manufacturing electric cars, but it's also about building direct sales model without dealerships. So they can even some kind of shaping the way how they do the business in the automotive industry. But everything looks really spontaneous and these numbers make some meaning. But finally, if we come back to the brands that are really doing the online business, it looks like almost 70% of their business, direct business, make up less than 10% of their total sales. So today, the question is whether you want to extend or enrich or amplify your cooperation with the brands if you are a retailer, or do you want to somehow to close or stop the business that you are doing with the brands. So I would come back to the couple of basic practical tips which allows you to build the effective cooperation and move the cooperation from just normal business talks from the sales guys to some kind of partnership based on the marketing activities, financial statements, and so on. So let me start with the traffic. This screen comes from SimilarWeb, and it's one of the biggest Polish e-commerce site for consumer electronics, and as you can see, 13% of the traffic comes from retail brand sites. Even if they're selling products directly like Samsung, we are redirecting the traffic to our partners. There are a couple of methods. Tomek from Danone already told you about the publishing links to retailers on their sites. I would like to emphasize 2 things. You can publish just normal clicks. You can use third-party vendors, which allows you to automatically map your products with the category and product cards on retailer site. You finally can develop some advanced tools. You can see L'Oréal Paris in the USA. If you are visiting L'Oréal Paris site, you can select the products and finally add to the basket, and the basket is redirected to your favorite e-retailer. Why why this is so important to do the traffic redirection? First of all, you get the completely free traffic from the vendor side. Secondly, you build your authority in two ways. You have the CEO perspective and the positive aspect of CEO if the links are properly made. And secondly, you promote your brand on the brand side. What actions could I recommend to you? First of all, identify the possibilities of traffic redirection. Check the mechanism, methods, and people. And I will even start with the people from the brand sides who are responsible for this traffic redirection. Secondly, link your product cards with relevant pages on the brand side. Prepare the XML files. Allow crawlers to scan your site. Prepare the additional materials just to get to know the brands, what to do with your products and with the listings you have. And finally, link from all marketing pages that brands create during the year. Last week I was calculating the total number of landing pages only for Samsung Poland, and it looks that we are creating 8 landing pages per month. So it's more than 2 per week. So this is also huge opportunity for publishing the links on that kind of sites. And finally, prepare the offer and links to the CRM activities that the brand is promoting in the net. Traffic redirection is a part of the whole concept of joint media planning. Joint media planning is a way when a brand and retailer set up common sales goals, and finally they are going to achieve some sales targets by co-finance digital campaigns. And as you can see on the slide, this is the biggest Polish retail players, and their approach to traffic allocation and traffic acquisition is almost the same. So in my opinion, and what I encourage you the most, is to looking for this kind of co-budget or joint media planning from not the sales perspective, like supporting the price, but looking for a growth opportunities to build your business, especially if you are you are not so big as Euro or MediaMarkt in Poland. And finally, what you can do in the joint media planning is to thinking about the common social media campaigns, like custom audience, like sharing your data sharing data between vendors and retailers. Thinking about CRM activities, some joint campaigns on the selected databases. There is also opportunity to leverage bids in affiliate campaigns or to align your PPC campaigns. Finally, a couple of remarks about this topic. So first of all, the basic is to create or to cross-check the marketing calendar with the vendor. Identify potential opportunities like back-to-school campaigns, winter holidays, Xmas period. You should also get to know what's the brand key activities during the year. What are the product launches, when they are going to sell out, organize the sellout. And finally, maybe the end of financial year, the fiscal year, is also an opportunity to do the business or to do the campaign with the brand. Secondly, align your search engine marketing strategy with vendor approach. Analyze the bidding strategy. Analyze where are there any overlaps in the keywords planning. Analyze what you can do on the search engine optimization way. What kind of traffic can you cross-check with the brand to optimize your overall spending in this field. And finally, use remarketing lists from the brands. If you have DMP, try to integrate DMP with the brands to have this common and seamless experience and seamless view of the customer. And finally, and Tomek already told about it, share the results. I know that's really obvious for lots of you, but we still struggle with having the right data after the campaigns. So if we talk about the traffic, I would like to come to the next topic, which is content. And for the past 3 years, I'm wondering what's the clue behind creating product cards, rich media product cards, or rich media content overall. And on the left, on the right, you see one of the most expensive Samsung product in Germany. On the left is very popular TV from Currys in UK. And I have no clue, I didn't have the clue, what's the reason of designing the card? Whether retailers are focusing on the most expensive, or maybe they are focusing on the most promoted products. And the reason of the question is that we are still struggling to have really extremely well-designed rich media product cards. And finally, my conclusion is following. If you have a massive amount of products on your site, it's almost impossible to develop the content for all of them. So the content syndication platforms like Flix Media, Brandbank, and WebCollage are filling the gap between some pre-designed boxes with some basic features, like I presented a slide before, and rich media tailor-made product cards. We made lots of tests in Poland, and I can confirm that in our category we increased conversion rate by 20% in one of our partners who decided to integrate with Flix Media. Apart from that, I strongly encourage you to listen and to be the first in the market. So when we are launching 4K UHD TV technology in 2013, there were some remarks and there were some discussions that it won't last. It's not a great big idea of 4K technologies. But finally, it occurs that 3D televisions are going down, 4K is going up, and this is the moment at the beginning that if you hear listening the brand, you can get valuable information about the product management, about product categories, about navigating the site. Maybe you'll be the first and the CEO will be extremely good for you. Apart from that, I would like to emphasize 3 last things regarding content. So first of all, if we are talking about moving the call centers or the after-sales contact to messengers or other different applications, you need to have the people trained, so you need the content, and you have to integrate via API with some post-contact sales. So that's the bench of the new things that will come in a couple of next week. Secondly, content for social media is what you can get from the brands because they also want to have spread their hashtags, images, tone of voice, and so on. So ask yourself, do you have the direct communication with content? If you're a retailer, ask yourself if you have a direct contact to social media teams on the brand side. And finally, think about the CRM or the mails that you can send after the purchase from the content perspective and from the brand perspective. You can get how-tos, installation guides, some cross and upselling metrics. So all the stuff that you can enrich your customers finally. And if we have proper traffic on place, if we have good content on site, the question is, do you consider as a retailer your site as a medium, as an online publisher? If we take into account what is the brand perspective, so the brand is looking for the most effective touch points. The brand is also looking for the telling brand story. And finally, brands are thinking about getting people to the site and converting them to users. And from that perspective, I strongly believe that e-commerce can be better than in Poland, Onet, or any other big publisher on this, in the internet, because you can utilize what you already have: magazine, newsletters, mobile apps, CRM segments, and all other stuff that you have. And especially you can see it on the fashion industry that they are really doing it really well. It's also connected with the merchandising strategy. And there is a hard topic for the brands especially, because the question is whether your merchandising strategy is focused on giving your business additional revenue, or is it focused on increasing the conversion rate? I think that I won't give you the right answer for it, because it's connected with your business model, with your margins, with the category you are in. But basically what the brand needs, so we need definitely KPIs and reports. We need to know what are your goals in terms of the merchandising. Secondly, we need your placement map. Which placement can we use and which placement can't we use? Visual strategy is also what we need to have the understanding what we can do with you or what is not allowed. And finally, rules and mechanisms is also an important thing. Is it possible for the brand to create a campaign for the competitor's product? That's the basic question that should be answered. So there are different methods. This is Appliances online site. So you can see that they are using key visuals or maybe just the product pictures, and they are adding their own copy with their own font. On the other hand, we have Polish examples, and the media expert allow brands to tell their story in their own way. So we have the possibility to put our image, our key visual, our message, our logo, everything, and brands love it. But apart from that, cross-selling is what also needs to be considered in this case. This is S7 for one of the biggest Polish e-commerce sites. This is the recommended accessory for our top leading brand new Galaxy S7. And what we have is 9 places. We have 4 original products. 1 product is already inside the box, so it's not a business. We have 1 blank, and we have LG products. So as you can see, we are still fighting with the retail, maybe not fighting, we are still convincing them to use our cross-selling and upselling matrix to update their recommendation engine. I know that there are self-learning or machine-to-machine learning systems with some big data behind it, but let's try and let's start with some basic corporate Excel files from brands to be delivered and then to be tested on the site. Okay, couple of final remarks from my short presentation. So first of all, set strategy towards key vendors. You should have clear set of actions or expectations towards brands. So in terms of sales, in terms of the marketing, in terms of the other different stuff like logistics or financial. Get to know what's vendors' sales and marketing strategy. Do you know what brand is planning for the next couple of weeks, months, and years? Review your organization. Review your organization and find out who's directly responsible for contacting vendors. Is it only a PMs or sales team? Do your PR team, do your social team have a direct relationship, a direct contact with people on the other side of the story. Finally, align your marketing plan with vendor activities. You should get to know what they are planning, what are the key points, what are the common possibilities of doing business in this case. Finally, identify the key projects which can be supported by the brands. Maybe there are some common ideas and common projects that you are developing, like new recommendation engines. And finally, identify the biggest challenges that you are facing. Maybe brands can extra budget, extra know-how, extra IT resources to support you with that kind of challenges. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michał. It's time now for your question. Please introduce yourself briefly and tell us who you are, where you're coming from.
Shahir Ahik, Klaipeda Free Zone. The topic of your presentation was cooperation between vendors and e-retailers, but your audience was the e-retailers, and your emphasis was on a brand as a vendor. Suppose the shoe was on the other foot. Suppose it's the e-retailer that's the strength, like a blogger that's gone e-retail and has a fashion customers, etc. And the vendor is unknown, sitting back there in China. What would you change in your presentation? Or what would you say that you didn't say already?
So basically, what I show is that the way, or I was mapping some kind of the opportunities in terms of the building the business with such a great brands like Samsung. So I think that there are more questions in this topic than clear answers right now about the details of the merchandising and so on.
My name is Milena and I'm from Hamburg. We have an office in Hamburg. We are called Spanaka Voucher Group. I want to ask you, because you said it's better to contact not directly sales department, but rather PR marketing department to make a closer cooperation in this field. What would you advise to the smaller company to how to get to those to this closer cooperation with the big player?
So first of all, you have to have direct business So if you have direct business, you should go through these CAMs or national key account managers, sales guys, to allow you to allow you to contact their people inside the organization. I know that this is hard. I've been working for Samsung for 3 years, and we are still struggling that some of the information is stuck in the sales team. But I think that you have to pushing and you have to showing the detailed message to the people on the other side.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, thank you again, and thank you all.